Today is Chafei Adam. The world was created today. We thought there's machlekes in the Gemara. There's petition of Eilam or Benessen of Eilam. And the halacha is like Rabbi Yeshua that Benessen of Eilam. And like Taisa says, petition is B'machshava. But actually, the mindset, maybe we should say the other way. The mindset was Nissen, but actually the machshava it was in Tishrei. So today is a very big day. Today is the first day of creation, and on the Rosh Nissen, the sixth day, Levish is the ninth Adam, and the Marisha was Beshav. So today is you should feel already the oil of the new Bria. Before I go into what I want to talk about today, I just want to make a Hagdama that you probably are introduced to this Hagdama, that the Torah talks in a way to us that we should understand. The Sabar is Eichen. You're going to have like Drashos that David regretted that he created Adam. You're going to have, let's say, in the Navi Shmuel, that David told Shmuel and Navi, Nechamti ki asisi eshol lemelech. I regret that I made Shol lemelech, because it didn't hear the Muhammad with Amalek properly. The Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't regret. The Rebbeinu Shalom knows now what's going to happen later. More yet, now and later, our Olam Hazeh concept. Pashanayim there's no how and no now and no later. Haya Haya B'Yiyah is all one thing. Actually, everything is with a plan. The Medrash says, it's a Medrash and Chuma. It's not a Zayar, it's a Medrash and Chuma. That the Chat of Admiration had to be. It was in the Rebbeinu Shalom's plan. There's no two ways about it. It had to be. The Chat of the Meraglim had to be. Moshe Rabbeinu's Chat with Mei Meriva had to be. There was no Bechira even. It was all in the Rebbeinu Shalom's plan. But when it comes down to us, there was Bechira. And if Adam Rishon wouldn't have sinned, we would have all been alive, and Adam Rishon would have feared Tish today. And the Yidden would never have gone to Goddess, because the Goddess came because of Mechiras Yosef. So when you have these in Youngin, Rebbe Shal reduces it to our graspings, but it's higher than that. Now I could proceed with what I want to say. So Rebbeinu Shalom created the world in this. The world actually means the Bria of Adam Rishon, who was created on the sixth day of the Bria. And on Rosh Chodesh Nissen, the Rebbeinu Shalom said nine Adam Rishon. And the kavanah of Rebbeinu Shalom was that this world should be a Gan Eden, a utopia. Nobody should die. Loaves of bread, maybe chalas, should grow on the trees. Clothing should grow on the trees. Shaimlech, everything. And the Malachim were roasting meat and sifting wine for Adam Rishon. It was an Olam HaTikun. And that was the kavanah of the Rebbeinu Shalom when he made the world, and there was no death, nothing. Then Adam Rishon goofed, and he ate from the Eitzadas, and it was a disappointment. The Rebbeinu Shalom's world, the way he wanted it to be, did not come to realization. Then the Rebbeinu Shalom decided again, when I said a bunch of said or try again, that's the way we grasp it. It was only Rabbeinu Shalom's plan. So Avraham Avinu came in this world. Also, Avraham Avinu, his Zman is nissan. Everybody has a certain time. That's his time. When he's born, when he has, like the Islam say that in a person's birthday, his muzzle is very strong, because that's his time. He was born in that star that conducts the affairs of that very day, or that very hour, or that very moment, in that specific Chodesh. So Avraham Avinu, he's spring. In spring, everything is renewal. Everything is Bria. Why does the world wake up in spring? Everything till spring is dead. The trees lost their leaves. The grass is all brown and it's dreary. And in fact, the trees and the ground are wearing a cloak of Tachrichim, white Tachrichim, shrouds of death. And when spring comes, it's Tchias HaMesim. The trees strip themselves from the white Tachrichim and they put on a new coat of green. They're not Irish, but later on it's packed with beautiful red peiros or purple peiros or whatever the color of the peiros, and the birds come back from the south, and they introduce new songs. Actually, I have that in Shir HaShirim. When spring comes, it's a revival, it's a Tchias HaMesim. Everything becomes alive. It was dead till now. And the buds are on the trees. The nightingale's time of singing has arrived. The figs are budding their figs, and there's a wonderful aroma, a fragrance near a fig tree. If you ever are in Eretz Yisrael, well, I have it in California, you can see that. It smells so beautifully. And and the Rebbe says to Klal Yisrael, get up, wake up. The entire Bria, the entire creation is waking up from the winter slumber, and you're in the sleep, you also wake up. That's what anybody has said Shir HaShirim on Friday? Or I suppose that's the first time you heard this pasuk. That's nissan. Wake up. Everybody is waking up. The entire Bria is awakening from its Misa. Why aren't you awakening? The winter is over. Get up. So that's what happens in the spring, and that's nissan, that's others. So there's a certain neshama who is a spring neshama. That neshama is Avraham Avinu. He's a Pesach neshama. All the atzlachos, all the important events in Avraham Avinu's life were all in nissan. The Bris Ben Absarim was on Pesach. The Milchama that he had with the Abba Melachim and his victory over them was on Pesach, and that is a symbol of the Abba Malchios that the Yidden will have to go through, and they're going to prevail, and they're going to survive. And the Malachim came to be Mavasa, the birth of Yitzchak on Pesach. Everything of importance happened on Pesach, because Avraham Avinu want the Eilam HaTikkun wasn't Matzliach. I'm going to try again, Kaviyach. But now, in a small way, not in a big way, that the whole world should become one big Gan Eden, like it was in the times of admiration before the Chet, but I'm going to localize it in a small way. It could be Matzliach more, that not the entire world would bring the Eilam HaTikkun, but one nation, which is started off by Avraham Avinu. And the purpose, the kavanah was that from Avraham Avinu the Jewish nation should come out, and they should bring a new spring, a new aviv to the world when they mature. And they matured in Mitzrayim when there was Shishim Ribay, which is the number which is necessary for their maturity. And then they were Mekabel the Torah, and Yitzias Mitzrayim was again in Nissan, a new revival, a new rebirth, and here it's more localized, only the Jewish nation, and they're going to live forever, and they're going to be brought to Eretz Yisrael, and from there straight to the Gan Eden, and they're going to be the Eilam HaTikkun. But again, the second attempt of the Rabbeinu Shalom, again, if the way we understand it, not the way it was, it was on the plan. But the second attempt of the Rabbeinu Shalom was disappointment, the Egel. If not for the Egel, it would have been the Eilam HaTikkun. The Yidden would have lived forever, and they would have been in the Gan Eden. Like the Gemara brings a pasuk by the Egel, Ani amati alehem atem. I thought that you're going to be like Malachim, and you're going to live forever. You're going to die like Adam Arishan because of the Egel. So this attempt was a disappointment. So the second Nissan, the second important Nissan that the whole Bria was waiting for, again was a disappointment. So the Bnei Shalom thought, we'll try a third Nissan. But here, it's going to be even more localized. Not the entire Yiddish nation will be the Eilam HaTikkun, but there will be one spot in the world that there, the Eilam HaTikkun is going to exist. And that's the Mishkan. So the following year, after Yetzias Mitzrayim and after the Egel, they built a Mishkan, and the Bahi Bayim Hashmini, and on Rosh Chodesh Nisan was the Chinuch of the Mishkan. Again, it wasn't a success because of Nadav and Aviv. They brought Eish Zara, and they were pagan the Kedusha of that Mishkan. So it already has been predetermined that the Mishkan, the way it is, and what follows the Mishkan, like the two Bati Mikdashim, aren't going to be the real thing. So therefore, you have in this week's Sedra, by the Chinuch HaMishkan, Eile B'Kudi HaMishkan, Mishkan HaEidus. So Rashi says that two Bati Mikdashis were going to be Chariv. It was a failure. From the way we look at it, of course, but as I said, it was on the Rabbeinu Shalom's plan. But there's going to be a fourth Nisan. And that Nisan, we are promised, we have a haftarah from the Rabbeinu Shalom, it's going to be a smashing success. That's going to be the Nisan of the Nisan Asidna Ligayim, and the Bayis HaShlishi will be built up, and then the world on the larger scale, not on a localized scale, but on a large scale, like before Adam Arishan, the entire world will become the Eilam HaTikkun, V'sruach HaTumah A'avam in the Eretz. Death will be abolished. There will be only simcha in the world, only menucha, no mulchamas. There will be there will be prosperity, and there will be shefa, and there will be bounty, and Yidden, like the Rambam describes it at the end of Hilchos Malachim, are going to have everything they need so that they should be able to be Ovdei Hashem the entire day with menucha and being provided with whatever they need so that they should be able to devote their entire being and their entire time only for Torah and Tefillah and Avdas Hashem, and that's going to be the next Nissan. And you and me are both hoping that this Nissan, Abba Aleinu B'Teiva, will be that Nissan, right? Nissan is rebirth. We have to be part of the Rabbeinu Shalom's Bria when Nissan comes. We have to get up to Yesamaisim. And that, because that's Nissan. Everything, the whole world becomes alive again the way it was by the first original Nissan when the world was created in the very first Nissan. So that's why we lane the Haftarah of Tchias HaMeisim on Shabbos Cholamayid, on Pesach, the Atzamas HaYaveshes, the dried up bones become Yecheskel Hanavi was Mechaya Mason then. And get up from your slumber, Yecheskel said. Get up. You're going to be a symbol to Klal Yisrael that I'm going to take you out of your graves and you're going to become alive again, and that you're going to see the hoped forness that the entire world is waiting for. Besides being Chafei Adar today, which is gracious, and the Rebbe said Yehi Oyer today, it's the beginning of the Bria. Besides that, we're in the middle of the Shiva Shimei Miluim. We Hasidim don't say Tachnim, because 7 days before Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the Rabbeinu Shalom initiated the Kayanim, and they should train to become Kayanim, Miluim, and the Mishkan was built up every day, and it was also taken apart every day for 7 days. And the 8th day, the Mishkan was built, and it remained built. Sheva Yipel Tzadik V'Kam. 7 days, the Mishkan was taken apart after it was built, which gives us a message. Look, the Rabbeinu Shalom tried many Nissans, and these Nissans were disappointments. So, likewise, 7 days before the Mishkan, there will be a building and a destruction. A building and a destruction. Take a message from that. Sheva Yibel Tzadik V'Kam. Don't become miyuish. Don't think that when a person falls and he sees a disappointment in his relationship with the Rabbeinu Shalom, don't think that you're going to stay that way. You give up hope. No. Get up again. Get up again. The Rabbeinu Shalom tried again, and he showed you that you should try again. This is a time of tshuva, and that's a preparation to Nissan. Nissan is a chodesh of chesed. There is ahava in the atmosphere on Nissan, because Nissan is chesed. It's the month of Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu is the neshama of chesed. Tikkun emes li'ainkev chesed li'Avraham. Avraham Avinu's chesed reveals itself on Pesach, when he is Meiser Nefesh, with Achnasa Sayachem, even though he's sick, and he's old, and he's frail, and he's sick from the Mila, he's Machnas Ayachim. He's the Neshama of Chesed. That's the Eilam of Chesed. Eilam Chesed Yibana. The world is built up with Chesed. It's a Chodesh of Nissan that built the world, the creation is omniscient, which shows that the Rabbanu Shalom also again regretted from his, if you're allowed to use that word, from his machshava that he should build the world b'midas adin. So mitchila olav machshava lebraisi b'midas adin. So therefore, in Tishrei the world was created b'machshava, and therefore in Tishrei there's a midas adin. We have Rosh Hashanah and Aseret Yemei Tshuva and Rebbe is done. But Nissan, it's Chesed. That's Avraham Avinu. And we Yidden always try to be Mizgaber the Midas HaChesed over the Midas HaDin. Yishachner practically starts off with that. And Nilchos Hashem as a baker. Get up in the morning. What's the first thing a person does in the morning? He gives kayach to the midas hachesed. It should overpower the midas hadin. What's the first thing that he does in the morning? He gieses negelwasser. So the Shulchan says gieß the right hand first, because right is chesed. The left hand, yismael, is midas hadin. We always are magdir the midas hachesed over the midas hadin. We're the Amalekei Avraham that come from Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu started us off, and we are trying to make chesed the prevailing midah in the world. So we gieß negelwasser on the right hand. We put our clothing on the right one first. But when it comes to tie, we tie the left shoe first. Because we're tying down the midas hadin. We're being mekashered. That's why on the left hand, we tie down the left hand by the tefillin. We tie the midas hadin. The pchinas hakedas Yitzchak. That was the pchina of Avraham Avinu, the midas hachesed, tying Yitzchak, who was the midas hadin. We write from the right side. We start writing from the right side, because we're the kinder of Avraham Avinu. We write from the right side. We start from the right side. Even the esav, which are the Europeans, esav, they start writing from the left side. They're magber the midas hadin, because esav is a chabachatichya. He's a midas hadin. However, the Bnei Yishmael, they're the psilus of Avraham. The rejection of Avraham Avinu. So Yishmael is also midas hachesed. That's why the Gemara says that 10 midas, the Gemara says conditions. Sarah Kabin Znus Yad Aliyaylam Tishin Natlu Arabim. The Arabs are Znus, pure Znus. They're Shakuah Znus. They're being Maisa Nefesh for Znus. Now with the suicide bombings. Because their muftis tell them that if you're going to kill the Yidden, if you're going to commit suicide, you're going to go to the Arabic Gan Eden. And I don't want to describe what they have in the Arabic Gan Eden, but it's filthy. Esav is midas hadin. So here, the Arabs also write from right to left, because they're chesed. But there's a big difference. Chesed is white. The levana is white. That's why it's called levana. We Yidden go according to the levana. Chama, the sun, is red. It's very, very bright, but at sunset or at sunrise, you can see that the sun is red. Chama. The word chaim, chama, means red. Like Rashi says in Vayayte, chum baksavim, chaim, means red. And red, today they say chaim, they call brown. But actually chaim means red. Brown is some kind of a red. We've done them kasras. Something they know. So that's why we Yidden count by the Levanas. Midas HaChesed. Levin. The Gayim, use the solar year. Midas Hadin. The Chama. The are the psilis of chesed, nus, they also go by the levana. But the pure chesed, there's no such thing as pure chesed. Chesed, we Yidden, we have to practice chesed, but we harness our chesed. We don't let it go loose. Because if chesed is not harnessed, it goes into zima, into nus, into love, which is asara piyatayim. So therefore, even though we Yidden go by the levana, but we harness our chesed, and we match up the levana to go alongside with the chama, and that's where we have our iboriyah, our shana miuberes, because the levana, the shnas levana, is also controlled with taking into consideration the chama. It's seasoned by the midas adin, which is recoiling, which is stop. The Arabs are unbridled chesed, so therefore they don't have any iboriyah. Their Ramadan, their month of celebration, can sometimes every 10 years it'll fluctuate. Sometimes it'll be in the summer, sometimes it'll be in the winter, because they don't have any seasons. The Goyim use the solar year, only the solar year from the sun. They don't take the lunar levana into consideration altogether. The Bria came to a close on Shabbos. So Shabbos is the Bria. The Arabs go to the right side of Shabbos, and they have their Yom Menucha on Friday. The Christians, the Bnei Esav, go to the left side. They have it on Sunday. We have it both in the middle on Shabbos. So we magba the midas chesed. By the tzuas of the tefillin, you can find that the right tzuah is longer than the left tzuah. We're always we button our right side over the left side. That's how it's supposed to be. Rabbi Elazar, from the Talmidim of Beis Shammai, and Shammai's midas adin, that's where the machmir. Rabbi Elazar would say that petition is ra'ira. He goes more to the din. Nissan is others. Nissan is straight, going straight. Tishrei is fakert, recoiling, midas adin. So others is aleph base, and then the yud base, which means aleph base, and the 12 chadashim. Tishrei is the aleph base backwards, tav, shin, reish, and the yud, which is Yom Kippur, which is Mamtekit. So, Nissan is a Chaydish of Chesed. The first halacha which you find in Hilchos Pesach is to give tzedakah, ma'ischitim. The first statement that you make by the Seder is Kol Tachsin Yisrael V'Yeichel, come and eat. Nissan is Chesed. We start off with Chesed. Tchias HaMesim. And we need a key to go in, to take us into Nissan. That key is the matzah. We should open up the doors of Chesed, Shari Chesed. Pischuli Shari Tzedek. Ta'angam of matzah, if you look in the Chumash, the Agamungalas would always say Patiraya. Matzah means Patiraya. Patiraya means to open up. Like Petarechem, Rashi says it opens up the Rechem. Matzahs are a key. It's a key. It opens up the doors. The Ispashtus. Pesach is opening up. We open our doors, and we open the world to the Shefa, the Rabban Yisraelim. Everything is opening up. The matzah is called Pateraya. The climax of the Seder is when we open up the door by Halayim, by the fourth case. Everything is opening up. It's a Paterechem. A B'chayel opens up. So he has a Shaychus with Nissen. Kadeshik B'chayel. Is in the parsha of Yitzias Mitzrayim in the film, and we open up the door of Ma'ila. The Targum Yonason says when Yitzchak gave the brachas to Yankov, and he wanted to give it to Esav, so it was Pesach at night, and he said to Esav, tonight is Pesach, and the eitzchas of Tal are being opened up. Tonight is the night of bracha. The Rebbe is opening up all the eitzchas tonight. I want to bench you. But Yankov got those brachas. And Pesach we open up. And that's why we bench Tal Pesach in the morning. Because the eitzchas of Tal open up them. And Tal is the Shem Havaya. You know what a Yid was a little pneumiastic has in mind by Berchas Tal, Pesach in the morning, what he has in mind by Meiret HaTal, the Shem Havaya in its milli. The Yud is Yud Vav Dalet, right? So how much is that? We already have 20, right? Then comes the Hey Aleph. So the other is 26. Then comes the Vav, Aleph, Vav. How much is 26 and 13? 39. The Gematria Tal. The Hay is the Shechina. The last Hay of the Shem Havaya is a Shechina which comes down in Klal Yisrael. Meiret HaTal. The Rebbe takes down these three Isiyas which with the Nuri is the Gematria Tal, and it meets the Hay. That's the yichud of Yud and the Hay, and that is Meiret HaTal. The Sheta comes down, the Ria comes down, the Tal of Tchias HaMesim comes down. The Gemara says that by Tchias HaMesim, the Rebbe shall bring down the Tal of Tchias HaMesim, Ketal Chayim Talachem, and that'll be Tchias HaMesim. So when Pesach comes, the Yom Tov of Tchias HaMesim, we bench Tal, that the Bansham is Mechayim Mesim the world, and the Tal of Tchia comes down, and we have Dog and Tirish and Yitzhak, which is Halacha and Agada and Seides HaTorah. That's our Dog and Tirish and Yitzhak. So Pesach, you open up the door, and what happens if somebody's closed up? Clogged up, his heart is clogged up, and the iris of Tal of Pesach don't pierce through his heart. At Psachle, open up, pierce through his heart. The Yitzhak Pesach came from Eilam HaChamishim, the same Gevaya Chamishim Mama of Purim, which is higher than understanding. You can't understand it. So therefore, the Zayah calls it Alma de Kaima Lemishala. It's a world, a island that you can only ask, but you can't know it. You can only ask. We can't be massacred. That's called, that island is the Shem Havaya with the Milui of the Isis, because we already found out that the first three Isis is 39, and then comes the fourth Isis, the Hay, that's Hey Aleph, 39 and 6 is 45. That's the Shem Havaya in its Shleimus. So the Matzah is the island of Ma, of the Shem Havaya in its Shleimus. Huh? The Matzah Adam, true. And Asa Adam. On Pesach you become another. See, it's different than Lechem. Lechem has a big kedusha in it if you mekayim the mitzvahs of Lechem. And that's why there's 10, the Shechner says that there's 10 Isis in Hamaitzi, 10 words in Hamaitzi connected to 10 fingers and connected to 10 mitzvahs that you mekayim till you eat the Lechem. And Lechem is heilig. So Lechem is Begematria 3 times the Shem Havaya. Lechem is 78, right? 3 times 26. But Matzah is 3 times 45. The Shem Havaya with the Milli. Figure it out. Right? Because Ma means, what is it? I'm asking, I can't understand it. So the Haggadah starts off with Manishtana. I'm asking, I don't understand. The whole Haggadah, it's Chacham Mahu Oimer. The Haggadah doesn't say Chacham Oimer, Mahu Oimer. We start by asking. Everything is Ma. Matzah Zu Al Shema. Why do we eat the matzah? But when Maram is it's a shame Memhei. Ma Al Shema. Pesach Al Shema. Everything is Ma. And then in Halayim, when we finish the first Chaylik of the Haggadah, Malacha Hayam Kisanas. Everything is a Kshayla. So the child, we're children on Pesach. We only ask, we can't understand because it's a Shara Chamishan. So he thought it's Manishtana. But the Shani Adei Elisha, if somebody doesn't realize that, he isn't in the item of Shayla, he can't connect himself with the item of Pesach, which is Shayla, at Psachlei, open up. Pesach is opening up. Pierce through his heart. Open up his heart. Let the rays of Pesach permeate his whole being. And when Shlomo Melech beckons to the Yidden, it's renewal. The whole Bria is waking up. Why are you slumbering? Lazy bones sleeping in the sun. Get up. So the Shlomo Melech says, that's the next pasuk. Open up for me, says the Shechina. I want to visit you. Open up your doors. I'm opening up. Pesach, everything opens up. Pesach is renewal. Pesach is rejuvenation, transformation. That's why Pesach is related with Chiddush Eilam. When a person wants to buy himself a new suit, for which Yom Tov does he buy himself a new suit? For Pesach. He wants to buy new shoes, buys himself a Pesach. He wants to paint his house. He wants to redecorate his house. He doesn't do it for circus or for Shavuos. He does it for Pesach. You can do it for Shavuos also. It has no shaykhs with Chanukah and Matzah. Pesach is new. Everything renews itself. You're buying new clothing for Pesach. Chiddush would take out new dishes for Pesach. Something which we didn't see the whole year. The shear of Chiddush is a year. The Gemara says by Yush. If you find chaylim that are a year old, they're rusty, you're allowed to keep it. Because nishkachti k'meis mileiv. It's like a mace. The shear of forgetting a mace is 12 chadashim. And then it's a renewal. We take out new chaylim. This is chadshus, which comes down on the world on Pesach, we have to use for Avdus Hashem. V'chadeshes kol yoisai l'avodasecha. Leif tohaya brali alekim v'ruach nachem chadesh b'kirbi. So that's Pashas Para. Leif tohaya brali alekim. And v'ruach nachem chadesh b'kirbi, that's Pashas HaChodesh. The Yidden will be renewed. Mashiach will come to be the fourth Beis HaMikdash, the fourth successful attempt. The final attempt will be the successful attempt. When Mashiach will come, that will be the real Chadshus. And then it will be Oya Chadash al Tiyantaya. As I said before, the Indian of Matzah is Ma. 3 times the Shem Havaya with a Milli. Gematria Matzah. Ma. You ask on the Matzah. The first shayla that the child asks is Kulei Matzah. Why do we eat matzah? Because matzah is Ma. Manishtana. Pesach comes from the higher world, not Olam Hazeh. There are 2 things necessary for Olam Hazeh to dwell as Olam Hazeh. Time and space. Makom and Zman. Bashemayim, in the Olam of Ma, there's no Makom and there's no Zman. Everything is years all together, and there's no Makom. Space is a concept of Olam Hazeh. Everything in Olam Hazeh is within two concepts. Where did it happen and when did it happen? Where? That's Makan. When? That's Zman. Our life, which gives us life, what sustains us as living people? Lechem. לא יעלה לחם לבד יחיה אדם, כי על פי פי Hashem יחיה אדם. The Amish says that when you eat a piece of lechem, it's not the physical lechem that keeps you alive. It's a mighty pi Hashem, it's the neshama in the lechem that keeps you alive. That mighty pi Hashem on Pesach goes out of the lechem and goes into the matzah. It's elevated to a world which is higher than time and space. In order to make a good piece of bread, which is the staff of life, in order to make a good piece of bread, you need these two elements. You need these two components. You need time and space. You make the bread, the dough, you knead it, you let it stay, and give it time. And if you give it time, it'll rise and it'll become bigger. It takes up more space. Matzah is the opposite. Matzah is l'mala min hazman and l'mala min hamakom. So matzah, we don't allow it to give any time. Did you ever see people bake matzah? They rush. The smallest amount that in halacha of time is shiyah mil. That's 18 minutes. In 18 minutes, a piece of dough can become chametzik. We don't allow time to have its effect on the matzah. So therefore, the matzah doesn't assume space. It doesn't rise, which is vanity, which is emptiness. Because matzah is from a higher olam, which is l'mala min hazman and l'mala min hamakom. Everything in this world has to be within time and within space. When two Eidos come and they want to be Mazim some other Eidos, and we want to be Baidik them, what do we Baidik them? There's the Rishas and there's Chakiris. But the Yikir is, Imanu Hayisem b'makom pleini b'yayin pleini. Supposing they ask the Eidos, where did this take place, under which tree? And they say Tachas Ta'ena, and really it was an apple tree. So that isn't Mazim the Eidos, because that's not the Ikar of what and when it happened. The Ikar is where and when it happened. Only Zman and Makom. So that's why Eidim Zayman comes from Zayin and Mem. Zman and Makom. That's the Shayrish of Zayman. Zman and Makom. Matzah is l'mala min hazman and l'mala min hamakom. On Pesach, a person is supposed to rise, l'mala min hamakom, l'mala min hazman, rise to the Rabbeinu Shalom, who is above Makom, above Zman, rise to Torah and mitzvahs, live a life as a Yid. Don't be affected by the needs of Zman and Makom by Eilam Hazeh. You're above that. You're eating matzah. You're in the Eilam of Ma, the Malam and Makom, and the Malam and Zman. The Seder is divided into Chalakim, before the Afekaiman and after the Afekaiman. After the Afekaiman starts part 2 of the Seder. We eat a bigger piece of matzah. The Geula is divided in 2 parts, Pesach Mitzrayim and Pesach La'asid. The first Gezayis matzah is a smaller piece of the Yachatz. The second Gezayis matzah is a larger piece of the Yachatz. That's Pesach La'asid, when we say Hallel, and when we open the door for Eli Navi. So the matzah that we eat by the Afekaiman, that's tough. It's hidden. We don't know when Mashiach will come. And that piece of matzah that you eat by Afekaiman, that matzah is a very special matzah. It's a bigger kedusha than the first Gezayis matzah. Somebody won't understand that. What? The first one is a mitzvah d'oraisa. And the second one is a d'rabbanan. But the second Gezayis matzah is Pesach La'asid. And we're eat the matzah, we already live in the Asid. We're living with Eliyahu. That technically is matzah. The way Abraham Avinu did. When Abraham Avinu ate his matzah on Pesach, he ate matter of what's going to be, not what happened. Our apikaiman is what's going to be, not what happened. You have to be mistal of Habakasha of Pesach. I'll finish off with a story. That I heard in the closing the Gerav Zachan the Levadacha. There was a certain tzaddik that made up his mind he's going to have a kosher Pesach. Because Pesach is very important. Pesach binds up with the Rabbeinu Shalom. The Chodesh Yerim explained that the Ori Mayadim, Shavuos is higher than Pesach. On Shavuos we say Gantz Hallel. On Pesach we only say Chatzi Hallel, except the first day. Sukkot is even still higher. Sukkot is the climax of Ori and Tayvim, of Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. But Pesach is the beginning, the Reishis. When we tie ourselves with the Rabbeinu Shalom, and therefore the Reishis is the most important thing. Reish Kol Mayados, the Sefer Pesach, it's the Reish. Like the same thing with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yankov. Yitzchak was in a way bigger than Abraham, and Yankov is the Tchil Shebiyavis, he's Sukkot. But Yankov Nasas Pesach. The Yamtiv of Sukkot, that's Yankov. But Abraham is the beginning. Amalekei Abraham. So, therefore, if you're over on all the dinim of Shavuos, what can be the worst thing? Somebody does a malach on Shavuos, he's Chayiv Malkus. If you're over on all the dinim of Sukkot, what can be the worst thing? He does a malach. He's Chayiv Malkus. If you're over on Pesach, you eat chametz chas v'shalom, it's kares. Because the opposite of kares is kesha. We're tying ourselves with the Rabbeinu Shalom. Eating matzah means making a kesha with the Rabbeinu Shalom. It's a kesha, a bris. It's a bris with the Rabbeinu Shalom. The bris of Abraham Avinu. That's why to eat the Korban Pesach you needed bris. The bris of Abraham Avinu. Otherwise you have mashaychus with Pesach. Orel isn't allowed to eat the Korban Pesach. Orel can sit in the sukkah. Because that's a bris. So there was this, and that's what was so much makbid on Pesach. Yetzahara, the Radbaz says, the Radbaz is a Rishain, so it's not a Mamish Rishain, but he was in between the Rishain Machainim. So in the Chuvas Radbaz he says, why are we so machma by chametz? It's more than any other avodah. That's the first kasha that Taisus asks us from Sefet Tzachim. So the Taisus once answered, the Rosh shrugged it up, and the Rosh does his answers. Everybody, why we're more machma and chametz, even more than avodah zara, more than anything. The Radbaz says, we can't find any teretz al pi negela. We must enter al pi nista. Because the Zohar says that chametz is Yetzirah. So there's not so much machna. So the Klausenberger Rav tells us this mindset, that there was this tzaddik that decided he's going to have a perfect Pesach. He's going to have a chametz-free Pesach. And he worked so much to clean up the house, and he brushed, and he scoured, and he made his matzah of so much chumras, and he was so careful, was up days and days and nights, all preparing to have a kosher Pesach. A sterile Pesach, without any chametz. And then he sits down Pesach and says, I'm having a kosher Pesach. I'm having a kosher Pesach. And he was so happy. And then after the Kazayis Matzah and the Mareh, he says, Shulchan Aruch. And he's serving his soup. And in the soup, he sees a little kernel of wheat floating around. It's chametz. And he was very distressed. And this tzaddik made a shaylas chalam. He asks Bashamayim, there's a certain big tzaddikim make a certain yichud, and they answer the kashas in their chalam. Rimi Kiel, the Red House Sefer, and I think that's what it's called him with Shilas Cholim. Shilas Chuvas Nashmayim. You'll never see it? In the library you're going to have it. It's Meiredik Zachary. So he asked the Shilas Cholim, he's asking two kashas. Why did he deserve it? He worked so hard for Pesach. Rather a chassid of Yishmael, why didn't the Rabban Yisraelim help him? The second shaila is, how did it happen? It was impossible. So he answered in the two shailas. Why he deserved it? He did everything for Pesach, but one thing you left out. It wasn't mispalel. You're supposed to be mispalel, Afrein Hashem, Mikaf, Meyaber, V'chaimek. It's like a pasuk Shalom. The Rabban Yisraelim bini matzel from chametz. How did it happen? Well, the pot was on the oven, and the chimney was over the oven, and the bird flew above and dropped the kernel of the wheat through the chimney. It came and flew into the pot. That's how it happened. It's supposed to be mispalel to have a kasher of Pesach. Maybe it's how we have a kasher, a freilich in Pesach, a kasher in Pesach, a chametz-free Pesach, a matzah dik in Pesach, a place dik in Pesach, and the Rebbe says, we should meet in Yerushalayim Abenuya and meet the Korban Pesach and meet our matzahs together, the Neich Hashem and the Zvachim and the Psachim, the Neidel HaShechodesh, Al-Gur HaSeina, V'Afidos Nafsheina, Akad Shabbos.
For Shir on Tabakov, and we're waiting in preparation for the ultimate nissan.